Hey everybody, welcome to the Shelter Hole and the Shelter Hole's first official book review. Hey, I'd like to bring to you a little review on Shar Westfall's book, A Beautiful Tragedy. It's about her husband, Jacques Fontaine, who died in a rescue mission at Operation Red Wings when they went in to get out the lone survivor crew that they made the movie about, that is a blockbuster hit with Marcus Luttrell. Or it's about Marcus Luttrell, Mike Murphy, Danny Dietz, and Matthew Axelson. And, Shar goes through, in her book, she goes through from the very beginning. It's kind of a love story at the beginning that goes tragedy. And in the between of all that, you have her fear, her anger, her grieving, her reconciliation with God, and her new beginnings. And the emotions, I'm telling you, I'm a grown man, and when I read this book, it was emotional for me. I don't know. I kind of have a special connection. I'm nothing special to them. Anyway, I worked with the Navy SEALs for a couple of years. I was not a Navy SEAL. Let's make it clear. I was not a Navy SEAL. But when you befriend these guys, or you get to know these guys, man, you have friends for life. When you become part of their, whatever part of their group or their camaraderie or their brotherhood that they have, what little bit you can by being on the outside looking in. I was a boat captain, and I inserted and extracted those guys. We were deployed with them, so I lived with them for 6 months in a berthing compartment. And you form a bond, and man, they're awesome guys. I've met a couple of them here lately. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them in another podcast. That's not what this one's for, but anyway, she goes through and talks about how her, the fear when he died of what's next. It's just the anger that you immediately feel, the sorrow that you immediately feel, and then when you're trying to grieve, everybody's trying to tell you how to grieve, and everybody has their own way of grieving. And I can tell you from losing a daughter myself, Evie and I, at a very young age, 18, 19 years old, we lost our first daughter at 5 months. There's a grieving process that takes place, and she was mad at God, and she couldn't believe, she couldn't understand why God would do this. She's a Christian, and why would she take her husband? And she had missed a phone call from him right before they left to go get those guys out. Again, it's the Operation Red Wings is what it's known for. Lone Survivor is the blockbuster movie that they shot on it. And so she finally figures out through counseling that she's not mad at God. She's actually mad at her husband for dying. So then she starts that reconciliation process. And listen, she finds out that God didn't go anywhere. He understood. He was there loving on her, understanding and comforting her, even though she was mad at him and shaking his fist. And just think about it as, if you're a parent, how many times have you had a child that's done that to you? They've gotten so mad at you, you just know that they hate your guts, or because you've disciplined them, or you've taken something away from them that they really wanted really bad, and all of a sudden now they don't have it. So this book goes through all of that, and I got pretty emotional through it. I thought it was an awesome book. The Shelter Hole rating, from 1 to 5, again, I give it a 4.5. And again, that's A Beautiful Tragedy by Shar Westfall. Glad you guys could join us on our first ever Shelter Hole book review. And just real quick, just so y'all know, I have read more books. Evie can't believe it. I have read more books in the last 6 months than I have my entire life, and I am loving it. I'm really enjoying it. So anyway, hey, this is John G. You're in the Shelter Hole book review. We'll catch you at the next one.